Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Misha Talks. So, on this video, I want to talk about something that I believe God has been doing in my life, in the sense that God will position you for where you need to be. He will position you in order for you to get to your destiny. He will position you for, literally everything that God has destined you to do. He will place you in positions, to kind of propel you to where you need to be. And why do I say that? Because in the last year or so, my life has just been moving in ways that I can't really say I had any control over. Even though you say maybe I've made a decision, or yeah, I made decisions that kind of put me in that place or put me in those positions. But I firmly believe that it was God, God just leading me, God guiding me, through every little step and every little station that my life has taken over the past year. And the reason I want to share this with you guys is that, we always have these plans. We have these set plans for our lives, and that this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to do it, and this is where I'll start, this is how the first year is going to be, or the second or the third. But we forget that God is God. And above all, God is going to do what God is going to do in order to get you where you need to be. Especially if your life is submitted to Him. Now, like I said, these things there's been many events, that led me to certain positions in my life. And as I look at them now, in hindsight, I realize that it was God all along. It was God connecting. And, even though some of the places I was at sometimes seemed undesirable, or for myself, it felt like, I don't know if I want to be at this specific job. I don't know if this is what I want to do with my life, Jesus. I'm not happy in this place. I'm not happy in this season. But now that I look at it in hindsight, God was setting me up for the next level. He was setting me up for the next step, for the next station, for the next position, in order to get me where I needed to be. And I'm not saying I've arrived, but I can say that I am well on the way. Now, we have many examples of, situations where God is positioning people in the Bible. But one that because on Sunday, at my church home, the pastor preached about Ruth, right? And the pastor preached about many aspects in the story of Ruth. But what kind of just struck me was how God positioned Ruth. How God positioned Ruth for her to be counted in the lineage of Jesus Christ. Like the story of Ruth in itself, is just her husband dies, she's left with her mother-in-law. And then the mother-in-law is like Naomi, she's like, you know what, go home. There's nothing left for you with me. Go back to your people. I'm going to Bethlehem. I'm going back home. But Ruth was like, nah, I'm going to chill with you. I'm going to stick with you. I will go where you go. I will die where you die. Your gods will be my gods. And I'm roughly paraphrasing it. But unknowing to herself, Ruth was positioning herself, or rather God was inspiring her to position herself in a place where her destiny will still be, like, we will still speak about her for years to come, because she is in the lineage of Jesus Christ. Her name is in the Bible. Whereas her counterpart, her sister-in-law, Orpah, we don't hear much of her again after she leaves Naomi, because she didn't position herself. But that's besides the point. Allowing God to position you, man. Another situation that seemed undesirable. Joseph, very undesirable. Chosen out of his brothers. Brothers are jealous, throw him in a pit, sell him as a slave. He becomes a slave. He rises up in the ranks, but then he's accused, goes to prison. Just many little instances that seem undesirable to us. Instances where we would be like, oh God, why would you allow me to be thrown in a pit? Why would you allow my family to hate me? Why would you allow me to become a slave, Jesus? I thought you loved me, Jesus. But when we read the whole story of Joseph, we see that God was positioning him to be who he was meant to be. God was positioning Joseph. God was positioning Ruth. Dude, God is positioning you, even if you feel like whatever situation you're in is undesirable right now. Instead of, you know what we often do is, we don't think, what must I learn from this space? What am I supposed to learn in this season? What am I supposed to grab from this season? Because remember, everything, God is a progressive God. He's not a stagnant God. Things keep moving. Just like we're changing seasons from summer to winter to autumn to spring and so forth and so forth, so do the seasons in our lives. And each season sets you up for the next. You know, whatever you learn in winter or whatever, it sets you up for the next. Like, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Don't despise the season you're in. Don't despise the job you're at. Learn, grasp, you know, learn from the people that maybe don't like you. Learn from the people set in front of you to teach you, whether they treat you badly or not. Learn from them, because like, you never know what God has in store for your future. I'm speaking from personal experience. You know, in the past year, I've gone through many things. Not bad, not necessarily bad. They could, you know, you could have gone through worse things, but for me specifically, God has set me up and He's changed me up and He's put me in contact with people. That's what I'm trying to get to the most, is the way He makes those divine connections. Even if you are in your season of winter, or you feel like the season is undesirable, or you don't want to be in the space because there's too much friction, or there's a lot of tearing, there's a lot of, you know, undesirable things happening, but don't check out of that season. Don't allow yourself to wallow in pity and sadness, but instead learn and always listen, learn from everyone. Because the things that God has in store for you are in other people. You know, people have different graces in life, and if we learn to grab from that person, because none of us are perfect, none of us are full rounded, none of us know everything. You never know everything. But if you learn from that person and that person, you become knowledgeable. You become, you know, you become knowledgeable in the sense that you can start doing things for yourself. And I'm speaking in a testimony type of way, because I see these things manifesting in my life. I went from being an interning actress, you know, learning from different sets, photographer, and I'm still doing those things, but now all of that knowledge has come together, and I've accumulated all this knowledge, and I'm not done learning, but I've accumulated all this knowledge in a manner where now I can stand on my own and I can do my own things. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, don't despise what God is doing in your life right now, whether it be pleasurable or whether it not be, because sometimes God could be doing a good thing in your life, but you're not happy about it because it's not as big as you wanted it to be. You know, you're not as big as you thought you would be, but learn from it. Instead of crying and worrying about why I'm in this position, God, say, Father God, why did you put me in this position? What must I learn from this position right now? Joseph was put as a slave, you know. He had to work. He had to grind it out. But I don't see him cursing God. I don't see him crying as to why me, God. Instead, I think maybe, I don't know, maybe in his thinkings, he was like, hey, one day I'm going to be something big. One day I'm going to be a prime minister in Egypt. And I'm going to utilize everything I have learned from being a slave. I'm going to utilize everything I've learned from managing Potiphar's house. You know, I'm going to use what I've learned when I was in prison. You know, because even in prison, he became one of the prisoners that were trusted by the guards and that did things. You know, he was trusted in prison. Because even though God may put you in a pit, listen, He will set you up even in that pit, you know, because God is amazing like that. And I think the one thing I'm just trying to communicate today is that allow God to position you. Let go of your preconceived notions of what your life is supposed to be and align yourself. Can't say this more. Align yourself with what God is trying to do in your life. Because I don't see the point of, you know, spending time trying to figure out, oh, what must I do with my life? When you could just go to the Father. He says in His word, freely come to me. You know, enter the throne room and speak. He's waiting for you. You don't have to figure out life. You don't have to guess. You don't have to, you know, He's made it easy in that you can go and talk to Him. You can consult Him and ask, Father, what have you planned for my life? What have you in eternity? Because remember, He says in His word that He created us and He planned for us in eternity. That's Ephesians chapter 2, you know, or chapter 1 verse 3. And He says, In eternity, my child, I knew what you were going to do. I created you for all these good works in eternity. So we need to stop trying to guess and figuring out and just align with what he has already planned. That's what makes it easy. Okay, not easy, but doable and enjoyable, because you stop stressing because he has already figured it out. And I think that's what God is trying to teach us, man, is that, I don't even know how to fully express, the great things that God is doing and the great things that God is yet to do in my life, in your life, in everyone who's watching's life. He wants to do amazing things because he created you for good works. He created you for good works. Allow him to position you. Allow God to position you. But you can't, God will not position you when you are still in control. God will not position you and you still holding on to the reins, because there can never be two kings. It's either you or him. So you need to submit your life to God. You need to submit and give him the reins. He is a sovereign God after all. Let him reign in your life and see where he will take you. See how he will position you in order for you to reach your destiny. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I just wanted to share that with you, and I hope it helps someone. I hope it makes you understand, or it helps you, understand the season you're in, or helps you, however it helps you. I hope it helps you. Thank you for watching, guys. I love you so much. Mwah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share with your friends. Also, hit the notification button, please. Thank you guys so much. Goodbye.